Hello, welcome to Bourbon and a Baby. My name is Jay. Max will not be joining us today because Max is a baby, and believe it or not, babies can't blend infinity bottles. Alright, and so what I wanted to do today, I'm really excited for because this is an idea I've had going all the way back to the beginning of my channel, and just for whatever reason I haven't gotten around to putting it together and filming this video. So what I want to do is talk about an infinity bottle and in the process make a Bourbon and a Baby infinity bottle based off of every review I've done so far, with the caveat of reviews of bottles that I personally own. So I'll explain that more in a little bit. But first things first, what is an infinity bottle? An infinity bottle, the first time I had ever heard of one, and I'm sure the concept's been around for a long time, but the first time that I'd ever heard of it was the idea that as you neared the end of a bottle, say you're drinking this here New Riff Bottled in Bond, and you're down and you've got barely, you know, a pour left, right? Maybe even a half a pour left. What you do is you take that little bit, you pour it into an empty bottle. So for the purpose of this infinity bottle here, I'm going to use this beautiful I.W. Harper 15-year decanter bottle. So then the next time, the next bottle you're almost done with, the same thing. You take that little bit that's left in the bottom and you dump it in here, and so on and so forth, right? Until this gets to become its own beast, right? Its own collection of individual whiskeys that you've been drinking on. Now, some people take that further and they just do it and they try to blend their own infinity bottle to reach its own type of flavor profile. And some people kind of like to do what I'm doing today and just make one of a bunch of different things that they've done or bottles they've had. So that's the idea of an infinity bottle. And the reason it's called an infinity bottle is that technically or ideally, whatever whiskey you add or bourbon you add will always be part of this, no matter what. So of everything that I add in today, at some point, you know, this is it'll go into this bottle, but at some point, you know, it'll leave this bottle, whether it's me drinking it, maybe me sending out samples. But there will always be a piece of each bourbon involved in this bottle. It'll always be this kind of infinity blend that's always just a part of the process. Really similar to the Solera aging process that I'll talk about when I review Blade and Bow whiskey, because they use a Solera blend. So same kind of idea. I'm not going to get into that now. But so for the purpose of this infinity bottle, like I said, I'm going to make this out of bourbons that I've personally reviewed on the channel, and also that I personally own the bottle of. So there are some reviews on the channel that I've done. You might have seen me doing reviews at a bourbon bar called the Renaissance of Tiffin. Those are not bottles that I own. That's why I'm doing those reviews at the bar there. I've also done a few reviews here in my home studio of bottles that I didn't personally own as well. Thanks to friends and for allowing me to use those bottles. But I've got a pretty good mix here to start with, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 ounce of each of these bourbons into this infinity bottle. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and open this bottle up, and some little crusties here I'm going to wipe away. So yeah, I've got my 1 ounce measure here, and I've got a little funnel. So here we go. First up, my very first review on the channel was New Riff Bottled in Bond, 100 proof. This, if you've watched the channel at all, you'll know is a favorite of mine. I absolutely love this bourbon. So very happy for it to be the very first addition into the infinity bottle. So just like that, there's our 1 ounce. Hopefully I don't get too much spillage here throughout the course of this. So my second review on the channel was 2018? Whiskey of the Year. And that is Henry McKenna 10-year bottled in bond. So starting off the bat, 2 bottled in bond products, 100 proof, a 4-year-old, and this is a 10-year-old. So there we go. Got that going. And my third review on the channel was none other than Weller Antique 107 from Buffalo Trace. So we're gonna get this going in here. This is still a screw top, not yet the cork. Beautiful. It smells very inviting. And my fourth review, Jim Beam Repeal Batch. Jim Beam Repeal Batch. Very enjoyable little bourbon here. I don't think it's, at least in my area, I haven't seen it on the shelf in a while, so it was a limited run bourbon that I imagine that run is out, but it was good while it lasted. I kind of wish I would have picked up an extra bottle. Add that in there. And then my fifth review, and this was what I called my gateway bourbon, Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy, a great beginner bourbon, I think. I've introduced this to new bourbon drinkers several times, and every time that I've done that, they've just actually liked it when they hadn't liked bourbon previously. So a really good starter, or what I call a gateway bourbon, because this was my gateway into the bourbon scene. All right, and then my sixth review was Eagle Rare. So we're gonna dump some Eagle Rare in here, a 10-year-old bourbon. Just a classic, that classic Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1. And then my seventh review, my first review that I wasn't super pumped about, Corner Creek. Now, I've actually put some damage into this bottle since that review, and I took it to a little like weekend getaway that I went on with some friends, and I used it as a mixer there, and it actually went really well as a mixer. I used it with both ginger ale and at one point or another lemonade, and it was a good mixer both ways. So hopefully it doesn't screw up this infinity blend here, because on its own I did not like this. Now we have to skip forward to my 13th review. There was a few reviews there in a row that I did not use my own bottle. And that was Wild Turkey Rare Breed. A favorite, just a classic. Can't go, oh man, major spillage here. Can't go wrong with Wild Turkey Rare Breed. There we go. It's gonna smell good down here with all this bourbon on my tablecloth. And then for my 23rd review, we have the 1979 Old Granddad 86 proof. Real excited to see what this Dusty here adds to the mix of this Infinity blend. bottle is so massive. I absolutely love it. My 24th review, Basil Hayden's, one of my more recent ones. This, another that I mentioned, like the Angel's Envy, a really good beginner bourbon. Coming from Jim Beam. Oh man, major spillage. All right, there we go. Got a little less than, there we go. We'll top that off there a little bit. So I spilled so much. Trying to give it that full ounce there. And last for now, my most recent review as of this filming is Larceny from Heaven Hill. So this will be the second wheated bourbon going in with the Weller 107. So let's throw this big boy in here. Getting pretty close to killing that bottle there too. Let's try this right-handed and maybe I'll have less spillage this time. Yeah, that works way better. All right, the lessons you learn along the way, right? All right, so this is my Infinity Blend. So that filled up about half of this decanter bottle. You can see there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this mingle in the bottle like Kevin's chili, how everybody got to know each other in the pot. Everybody's gonna get to know each other in the bottle here. I'm gonna give this a little bit of time. Then I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna pour a little bit and tell you what it tastes like. And then after that, what I'm gonna do is every time I do a review from here on out, I will add another ounce into this Infinity bottle. And at a certain point, when it starts to get a little bit more full, I'll probably do some type of a contest where I will send you a sample out of my Infinity bottle for whatever set of parameters I set up for that. But so yeah, that's the idea behind an Infinity bottle. All right, and we're back. This has had a little bit of time to settle, to mingle, get to know each other. Now we're gonna see how it tastes. So far this is a combination of 11 different bourbons. Everything from high rye mash bills to low rye mash bills to wheated mash bills. Most of these I enjoy. One of them I wasn't a big fan of. So yeah, let's see how these all came together. Let's check the nose. Huh. It smells really hot on the nose, like a lot of ethanol coming through. And what surprises me about that is that I have, let's see, the Wild Turkey Rare Breed is the highest at 116.8, and then the Weller 107. And then a couple of bottled and bonds, the McKenna, the New Riff at 100 proof. But everything else is under 100 proof here. So I'm surprised that I'm picking up such a high ethanol note. I get cinnamon. It's a little bit grainy. So maybe like I'm picking up that corn. It's really soft though, so kind of as that ethanol kind of fades away, I'm getting just some more lighter notes besides that cinnamon. There, I'm getting some brown sugar. And maybe it's like some light fresh fruit. So let's check the palate. Cheers! This is interesting. I feel like I can taste a couple of different flavor profiles, individual flavor profiles from a couple of the individual bourbons that were in here. Almost like I didn't let this sit long enough to mingle. I could definitely taste that dusty Old Granddad. It's kind of that musty rye note from that. And I could kind of taste that that peanutty flavor from the Larceny. And then I get the cinnamon from the Weller 107. But then as it kind of finished, it got softer and a little sweeter, kind of like the Henry McKenna 10. So let's take a second sip and see what happens here. Very rye forward, a lot of barrel influence, a little bit dry. Then a little bit of caramel and brown sugar on the finish. I feel like each sip is a little bit different, so this is really interesting. So what I want to know is, have you experimented with your own infinity bottles or doing your own type of home blends? What have the results been? Have you kind of made like this creation that's amazing? Has it not turned out so well for you? What are some do's and don'ts to home blending? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment. Really get the cinnamon that I traditionally get with that Weller 107 up front on this sip. It's really interesting how each sip has kind of given me different things. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see this project evolve as I add more to it and as I drink it more. Really curious to see how this ends up turning out. Thanks a lot for watching today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. That is so helpful to us here, and Max and myself would greatly appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't. And you can follow Max and myself on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're at Bourbon and a Baby on all those platforms. And you can also get yourself some Bourbon and a Baby merchandise, like this awesome t-shirt here, at our shop on Spreadshirt. And I will provide that link in the description below. Cheers. And that sip was even different. Such an interesting project.